Hey guys, my name's Dude Man, and welcome to The Beginner's Guide. This is a game made by the same group that made the Stanley Parable, which was kind of a surreal type game. It's kind of fourth wall breaking and things like that. This one, I think, goes into the files of your computer and things to figure out stuff about you. But I guess we'll figure that out as we play. Get in the game. Yep, got my headphones. Sounds like we're by the ocean. Same as any game.
Hi there.
Hello.
Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide.
No problem.
My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable.
Oh,
and
yeah,
while
see?
that
Okay.
game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike.
Yeah,
you
that's
can
what I
walk
was
around
gonna
here,
say.
by
It
the
looks
way.
like Counter-Strike.
And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But
That
what I
sounds awesome.
like is that even though he's...
Give me a sec. I want to see if I can put on... Yeah, there you go.
starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level.
Oh yeah, I
Of
didn't
course,
notice
it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its
Oh, there's a
creator. It's like a
missing
reminder
s-
that this video game was
missing texture.
constructed by a real
Same
person.
there.
And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is.
I can't jump on any of the
And that's
these
exactly
boxes,
what
it
we're
doesn't
going to do here.
Cool.
So, it's 2008. Coda starts making these games, and he never
go through that
releases
gate,
any of
just- I
them.
wanna
He doesn't
click
put
around
them onto the internet. He just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his
okay.
computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point,
keep
he
thinking
jokingly
he's gonna,
renamed
like-
his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand
Oh.
what he had just made.
Hello.
Until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveywreden@gmail.com. Okay,
kinda
that's
wanna
about
try-
it for
whoa.
introduction.
Oh, okay.
Let's take a look at Coda's
I
first
want to try
proper
that
game.
email now.
As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
Oh, that's cool. Whoa. Okay, that's. Warning whisper. She's status active.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games
like
you'll
an
see
alien
from Coda.
game. Can I not get through here? Nope. There's no recoil, no sound, and no reload on the gun, so. Oh, on your own. This actually looks kind of cool. Looks like something I'd model. Super simplistic. Ooh.
Security call breached. Hostile alien life form inbound.
I don't like the idea.
It kind of looks like this
possible
game was
alien
abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or
can't
enemies
get out
somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets.
Yeah, that's just what I was saying.
But ultimately, we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
I can't shoot anymore. Oh,
Enemy force neutralized. Begin ship evacuation.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
oh, that's hilarious. Oh, that's some good game dev. What was that? What's that sound? Oh, fancy. I like this corridor. I'd have this like in a house. I like this kind of. Ooh, never mind. Not this. Oh no, not a maze.
Apparently, the space station has a labyrinth on it.
All right, let's move to the left.
Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Oh, fancy. Looks like Half-Life.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam.
Yeah, I don't really feel like it. Can I just walk
It's
out?
so much to ask, but for all of our
I
lives.
just don't really want to.
Would you do it?
No,
Could you give yourself?
no, not really. I just want to go home. Fine, I guess I will.
Let me pause here for a second.
Oh,
What you just
we're on our
experienced,
side. Okay.
stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
This seems like the old Portal, where you just randomly like.
The beam causes
through
you
the
to start
world.
floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda
The
identifies
seam on
something
the-
human about it. Like how small it makes you feel
that's
in the
funny.
face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
All right, what is it? Ooh, this reminds me of Backrooms. The past was behind her. I can't move. Oh, wait.
Yep, in this game you can only walk backwards.
Oh, no. Oh, no jump scares, please. I don't think this is a jump scare style game, but I don't like this.
So
The
it's a
future
short
cannot be
and
seen.
relatively minimalist experiment
Why does
combining
the
motion
future
and
keep
narrative.
changing?
It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Coda's trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
Oh, there's another room. Okay. When she stops and looks, it becomes clearer. This is a really... I kind of like this style of just only walking backwards. But if the future is always behind her, how will she find the strength to confront it?
It's a short little thought, it says what
Oh,
it
that's
wants
cool.
to say, and then it ends. Didn't need
Oops.
anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
Tipping again. This seems like a horror game. I don't know about this. Yeah, this seems like a horror game. I don't know about this. You are now entering. Entering what? I can't go off on the sides.
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
Okay. Oh, so we're a month later.
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like
Nonsense
this
in
one at
nearly
the start of
every
his games.
Whoa.
I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
Oh, that reminds me too much of the Reapers. Ooh, I can't move.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well,
Yeah.
to show
Why
you,
bother
I'm
slowing
modifying
me?
the
This is
game
so
here so that when you
so
press
slow.
enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
Oh, sweet. Hello? Stand on an X staring at the bear. Whoa, what? Whoa, what? Press U to surrender.
A room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games.
Huh. Well, this is cool. It's like a game idea
Coda would
library.
often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
Kind of a cool building too. I like the style. Okay. Oh, all right. Next month. Ready, set, fish. Ooh, it's like Half-Life. Just all this old graphic style is reminding me a lot of Half-Life and Portal right now. Oh,
Well,
can't
this
get
is
back.
new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
Yep, already did. I'm a gamer. Well, maybe not. I think I broke it. Did I break it? I think I... Oh no! Ooh! Hello!
Don't forget that solution,
brain.
because we're going to see this puzzle again
What are
soon.
these? I don't know.
We're gonna see it a lot. So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve the puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. All right,
do
now
I do?
I'm going to modify the game again so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Whoa! Ooh, jeez! Whoa!
How about that? There was
That's where I
more to
came
it than
from.
we had any way of knowing. I actually
Wait.
find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So if
A
your
lot of
role here is not to
just
understand,
video games, and
then what is it?
just experiences in general. Like, if you don't know you're missing out on something, then you won't care. It doesn't matter. Back on here. You are now egg. Oh.
Aha. So this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the Stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back
So we're-
and start to understand what exactly that
We're
bigger
playing
picture
all of Coda's
is.
games right now. March 2009. A great and lovely descent. Ooh, that's cute. Cool little house.
Let's talk about video game development for a second. Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and
Oh,
cannot
it's not
do.
a house. It's like a little
So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development.
a streetwise fool.
To make all of
kinda
these
cool,
games,
like,
Coda
bistro.
is using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well. The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games, to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
Oh, this is spooky. It's like an underground, like, subway. Ooh, this is like cattle. Ooh. I don't like that. That sounds like... Okay, then I guess we go this way. You gonna let me through here? Nope. Bringing me up. Oh, this is like a prison. I see. Lock me in.
This prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go.
Yeah, I'm not waiting that long.
If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
No.
This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere. There wasn't.
I like Coda. Coda seems cool. Seems kind of smart alecky, but cool. There's a weird light in the corner.
It's the puzzle again, with the exact same solution as the last time. There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
Alright, I guess we're heading further down into the bunker here. Oh, listen. You there, did you come from up
Here,
above?
Coda begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
There was an enormous prison I spent hours in. Yes, there were these floating colored blocks. A world stamped with whiteness. There's a world above. That's the world above. You've been there. Now this is important. Do you have to get through a puzzle with 2 doors and switches? Yeah, I did actually. Again, perfect. Now tell us how you solved it. Tell us the solution. Tell us again. Tell us how to get. Don't remember how to solve it. I'm sorry. You must think harder, please. Try hard to remember. It's important that we get out of here. We must escape this prison. Can you remember? There must be something more. Please tell us how to reach the end. Ooh, hello. And we're back. Oh, this is like the Stanley Parable. Hello. How did you get here? Was there a puzzle you had to pass through? Yes, you want to know how to solve it? No, we actually find the blank space between the doors far more interesting. Have you seen it yet? Why would I care about the blank space? Actually, now that you mention it, I remember past strange feeling. Why would I care about the blank space? There's a reason, but it may take time before you understand, which is fine. You'll see it again soon. Okay, so that just disappears. It doesn't go anywhere. Watch it put me out with another copy of the room.
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
Oh. Ooh. Spooky.
It's a lamppost.
Yeah, I see
Okay,
that.
I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason, Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is.
So
it's
the entire
a destination.
point of his games now is just gonna.
We're going to see it in the work as well.
lamppost?
His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
Oh, we saw the lamppost in the title screen. Forgot about that. Alright. April next month. The game is connected to the internet. As you walk around, you can leave notes. All the notes you see are left by other players. Nice room, not.
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but
How do you
this
beat
game
this
is
game?
not connected to the internet.
I
All
knew
of the
it.
notes that you're going to see have been written
No point
by
to this.
Coda. This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento,
shit.
where I grew up. I saw him working on this
really?
very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else
Hello.
was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this
Reasonable.
person. In retrospect, I think I
Everyone
was
read
probably
this.
a bit too pushy, trying to get his attention.
Hey.
I was
This place makes me
over-enthusiastic.
sad.
But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me.
Guy over there wrote.
And I
Guy
cooled
over
off
there
eventually.
Wrote much wrong.
Oh, feel free to skip
I'd rather
over
be
any of
doing
these notes if
literally
they're not
anything
doing
other
anything
than
for
play
you.
this.
Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them.
I don't
Either way,
really believe
to me
that
they convey a sense of
from
loneliness.
playing Stanley
I see this
Parable, but I don't
person
have the
who's
time
filled
to
with
do all of
thoughts
that right now.
and feelings and beliefs and has
have-
no way to express them except as
Oh, I can't
scattered
jump
and
over. I
unheard
can't jump
voices
off.
in a game that wasn't meant to be played. But it's ironic, isn't it? That in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of
I
connect
feel
with
like
him.
I'm not doing much commentary.
And I
on
have to
this,
be
but
honest
I mean,
with
I
you,
can't really
this idea is
do
really
much.
seductive
There's
to
not
me.
much to
That I could just
talk about right now.
play someone's
other than
game
the surrealness
and
of
see the
this.
voices in their head and
this
get
is
to
cool.
know them better and have to do less of the
That was a cool
messy
painting.
in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think
Sounds
this is
like
why I always
antisocial
liked
talk.
Coda's games so much.
Or quarantine
Is because
talk.
it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
This is cool. I like this. There's a really, really surreal feeling to it, but it's kind of cool. I can't sprint, so I can't go any faster than this.
At the end of this
Jump
level, we're
down.
going to see the puzzle again. And here,
Looks like
I'll
a
tell you what I think the
volcano.
puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his
cool.
life before moving on to the next one.
Yeah, that's cool.
In each of his games, after
guess-
exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on.
The second door won't open.
And because
Go
there's
for
this dark
answers,
area
please.
between the
I've
doors,
been here for
a space
an hour.
between
What if this
spaces,
puzzle have a solution?
before you move on,
Help.
you get to pause.
Help.
Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and
Maybe I
let
should
go
start
of the
later,
events
guys.
that led
It's
you
not so
here.
bad.
To step back and
No
connect
solution.
the pieces together,
No answer, I
to
think,
grasp at
because
that
there's no second switch.
elusive bigger picture.
There is, though. Fight me. I was scared for a second. I thought I was gonna be locked in there, but no. Ooh. Sounds like somebody like is using a typewriter underwater. A lamppost. Hello. Are you there? Please say something. It could be anything. I just need you to say something. Talk to me, please. Why are you having so much difficulty talking? Speak, 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 speak. May through June.
Okay,
yeah,
this one is tough. It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
What was that? Oh, this. Ooh. Fancy. So many like underground bunkers and stuff that this guy makes. Ooh, what is that? Oh, it's just design, I think. Going outside? Oh no, we're in
this is it, the whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
We have missing assets, and now there's no wall. What furniture ought to go in the center of the room? Put a giant hole in the ground. I kind of want to see where that goes. Put a giant hole in the ground. What? Okay, now what about along the wall of the room? 10 stoves lined up against the wall. Or sofas. It's all good. I think we should light up this room a bit. Skylight, full ceiling window. Let's open this baby up. I'm thinking... Okay, that's some craziness. Live Tesla coils in each corner. That'd be awesome. Or just a lamp. A table. You need a table. I'm pretty sure none of my choices are making any difference. Oh, goodness. Oh, whoa.
There's a bit more to this one, but still, it's not really communicating
Looks
anything.
like IKEA.
It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
Oh, it's a maze. Okay. Or not really, it's just...
So, okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Hello, please walk forward. This guide will enable you to escape any prison environment. Follow the instruction carefully. Take care to remember what I do. Something. First, click on this table. Good. Go over to the photo frame and click to turn it slightly. Now, turn the floor lamp off on this room, then turn it back on. Go to the left side of the sofa. Move it over a little bit. The left sofa. Touch the shelves. That's it. In a real prison, the escape will now open. Return to the start to be taken back to your prison. Okay. Return. I guess we're gonna get out of the other room now with this knowledge.
And of course,
how'd it go?
Now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape.
Oh yeah, we need the center table.
Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside.
Oh, that's weird.
Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea.
Well.
There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this. To see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop. That particular mechanism of defense against yourself.
Let me go.
Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going, and then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons.
What is it?
This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
See the lamppost. By the way, this is gonna be a long video. I'm gonna see if I can play the whole game. But oh, it looks like a maze. No, it's not. It's just like set sizes of a hedge model that he used, so he had to do that. Hey, telephone booth. Never watched Doctor Who, so I don't know what it's called. Hello? Who is this? Hey, it's me. I'm you from after you escaped the prison. You're me? So you were trapped in this prison too?
It's a conversation. And so this is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone
That's where
who
I
knows.
am right now.
But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
Ooh, that's weird. Okay. Actually, I'm already forgetting what being in prison was like. It's strange. I kind of miss the prison. It feels like still... I'm kind of forgetting. Not really, but I'm forgetting some of the aspects of it. I mean, in a few minutes. This is the worst, most desperate thing I've ever been through. How could you possibly forget it? Oh, I promise it's not as bad as you think it is. Forget it. Anything can seem infinite when you're drenched in it. You just gotta work your way through. Wait, if you're me, then did you get a call from another person when you were trapped? Ooh, I think I'm the first person to call back. Then can you tell me how to get out? Maybe I can come find you. What do I have to do? Be sincere. I don't know. Be sincere? What? That will free me? How does that work? It'll make sense, I guess. I don't know. Sincere about what? It's exactly what you need to figure out in order to escape. I don't know.
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah. Someone you can trust, meaning yourself, and that would not be very
So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself?
It's a cool house. I like modern houses.
To me, this environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the two doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
Oh, hi. Good to see you. Oh, that's just perfect. Clean. I'm glad as all heck that you showed up. Thought I might be having to clean this entire house all by myself, and right miserable that would have been. Everyone knows lonesome hands make lousy homes. Oh, that's cool music, though.
You'll notice that the quality of the art is a step up from previous games,
Yeah, it does look
including this
nicer.
new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual
glad to be
polish
here.
of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
Well, now you might be getting a little ahead of yourself there, no? Why don't we start cleaning and then you decide whether you can do it all night? I'll finish up here. In the meantime, could you please clear the table? Yeah. Go? Much nicer. That's the table I want to see. Now, would you please run into the bathroom and make the bed? Oh, bed. Can't read. In the bedroom and make the bed. Oh, that's nice. While you're in there, why don't you straighten out the rug a little bit? All little details matter. Do you enjoy being a house cleaner? Well, I don't know joy as much as I need. While I'm working, I kind of feel a calm that rests in the pit of my ribcage. My soul just can't be soothed any other way, it seems, which I guess is all that matters. Oh, and that and a tidy couch. Would you straighten the pillows on the sofa out here? Oh dear, looks like someone spilled a drink over by the couch. Mop that up. I feel compelled to share an incredibly cheesy personal insight. You okay with that? Make it super cheesy. I need my content. No. No, it was stupid. Sorry. Never mind. Hey, those dishes need to be washed. Why don't you come do that? Last I checked, the tub needed cleaning. How about scrub it down the best you can? You don't need to be perfect. We're all just human. Are there still books scattered on the floor of the bedroom? If so, would you put them all back up on the shelf? So I guess this is Coda's type of way of saying, like, speaking with other people.
After the intense set of prison games, this house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful.
House cleaning is difficult. Are all these houses easy to clean? Darling, let me tell you something. In your lifetime, you're going to clean a lot of houses. And among all of those, a few of them will stick out as truly wonderful, beautiful experiences. And none of them will be the ones that were easy. Just something to think about while you smooth out the rug in the bedroom.
I know that Coda really liked this game. Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was like grossly happy all the time. Just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
That's cool. Earlier when I said a really cheesy thought, I was gonna say that it occurs to me that one's house is a lot like one's soul. You take care of it and it takes care of you. Don't know why I felt so weird saying that. Yeah, I get it. It's just weird saying stuff like that to people you never met. Anyway, so housekeeping. Let's keep doing this. Books. Would you please keep up books? Oof, I cannot speak right now. Ooh, I can go through the wall to do it. Oh no, I can't. Never mind. Thanks. Oh goodness, those pillows on the couch are a real mess.
I'm glad he
go
made
over and
this.
straighten them up a bit?
I'm glad he found some
Can't have
peace.
these folks coming home with a messy couch. I like this. Question.
But,
Do you
of course,
enjoy this?
it can't last. The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
So lamppost. It's the end of the level.
Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it.
September.
This one
Items you
gets
love
a
at
bit
members-only
goofy.
prices. Talk. Why did you come here today? Was it to improve your life? Is it to get a better job? Is it to make your relationship more meaningful? No. You came here to be perfect. This workshop is going to teach you how to be perfect. I was just up there. I want your friends, the people in your life, to look at you and think, wow, this person is a better human being than I am. Right now, who do you think about that way in your own life? Who do you know who is so well developed as a person that make you feel disgusted with yourself, compared to whom you feel useless, selfish, ungrateful? I intend to make you into that... Oh, that doesn't sound... Okay. I intend to make you that person perfection is within your grasp. And now the question is, how do we do it? But how do we do it effortlessly? This is easy. It is so easy.
About halfway through the game, the perspective
Being
shifts.
perfect is effortless. Whoa. Okay. This is the key. How do I achieve with no effort?
And you play as the teacher. And
Well, let me tell
suddenly,
you right
you
now,
discover
it's
that your
effortless,
teacher
it's
is
not
just
good.
as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
These other answers, I think that's all you perceive as me as wise and intelligent. Drinking is not hurting my life. If you are torturing yourself to try to find the right solutions, you're not doing it right. Don't you understand? You wouldn't be happy until you love me. This is for you. You want people like this. It's gross. It's got the only one thing. Simplest thing. Haha, just kidding. Anyone want to do some ecstasy after this? There's no true path, there's no path. What if I'm not a good teacher? Well, you guys, something is coming out of the back of the room. Look out. Do it as easiest, as simplest. Feel it is true. Nothing. No one. It's coming for you. It's going to destroy you. Everyone run, run.
I fell pretty hard for this one.
Perfection.
I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days.
January 2010.
This one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one.
Whoa.
That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this.
Quite a big
and it's not
set.
like it's particularly
Is that why?
complex, so I remember I found that a little
Whoa.
strange
Oh,
at the time.
Alright, the performance is beginning. Places, please. In this scene, you will be playing as me. Can't get back. We are at a gathering of professionals. First, you will start out leaning against this wall. Good. Stay right there. Nope, I'm moving. The woman across the room in this chair is a professional photographer of animals. It's your dream to photograph animals professionally. This is your one chance to learn something from her, to gain something, to succeed. Go on, say something to her. Hello. Hello? That's it? That's not a conversation. You need to actually converse with her. Be a human being. Do it again. I like you? No, that's not what I said to her at all. You're completely missing the tone of the conversation. I was reserved, but I knew what I wanted. I was confident. For some reason, it was all just that one moment, but I was confident. Maybe it's that you need a better feel of the setting. There were a lot of people around us. I'll give you some props to work with. These cones that bounce when you touch them will represent the people nearby. Oh, that's funny. Now talk to her again. Must have worked really hard to get there. You're messing it all up again. You'll freak her out if the conversation gets that personal too quickly. Do you not realize how important this was for me? I'll never get another opportunity like this. Everything was riding on this. I want to try something. Try stepping back from the stage. Oh, goodness. Okay. Hello, lamppost. Is that the end of it? Whoa, jeez. Oh. Okay, yes, now this is
The
working.
game ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution, social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world.
This reminds me a lot
And that
of,
wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games.
What's it called?
Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer.
Don't like the sound. Nope.
But what can you do? After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
Mobius trip. To play this game properly, you must keep your eyes closed. Click to begin the game. Here we go. They're closed. I can't see. Oh, I really want to look. I'm going to look at the recording, and I hope there's not something here that I'm missing. Because I'm actually closing my eyes and I can't. Guys, is there something there? Alright. 3, 2, 1. Problem. Problem. I should have. Problem. I shouldn't have closed my eyes. Okay, what's going on? Captain, what can you do? Help, I can't see anything.
You
What's
should
going
probably open your eyes if you haven't already.
Yeah, okay.
It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
Please don't let this be forever. Blind, medical. Blind. I could try, I need to find my supplies. Ooh, who's that? Ooh! He finally cut out the bottom. The floor on it. I'm going up to meet this guy. Truth. The only way to stop is to speak something that is honest. I can't keep making these. This is Koda's. This is how he realizes that this is hurting him. Yes, that's it. That's the truth. I just don't
Like
feel
I
it
said, I
anymore.
was getting concerned.
It's draining me.
First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But
Keep going,
then
keep
even
talking.
weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's
I haven't
having
been
trouble
honest.
iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new
Doing
ideas
it.
anymore.
It's working.
And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will
alone.
just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the
We're gonna
time?
be
It was
okay.
that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Koda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way. His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
Oh, in December now. It is 2 years after we started. Hello? Where am I? Ooh. Oh, this is cool. How'd I get here? Don't like the warping. Oh, that's just the music, okay. Is that a person? How lovely. It's been a long time since I've talked to anyone. What's wrong? You look lost. I can also jump through this tree here. Well, I could. I'm completely out of ideas. That's how. Oh no. What's happened? Did something change? There's a machine that kept going and it stopped. Kept me going. Wait, you're looking for a machine? I think I know where it is. It isn't far. You have to take me to it.
If the last
I can
game
do that.
featured
There's a
Koda
problem.
talking explicitly about his
Guarded by a
creative
difficult
frustrations, this one turns it up to 11.
We'll find the machine.
Now,
Deal?
put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle,
Deal.
frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for? Because
Here it is.
from my perspective at the time and just
What do you
what I
think?
knew of him, this was a result
solved
of how
this puzzle before.
isolated he was. He was in his own
Oh,
little bubble,
wonderful.
just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to
wow,
anyone,
that's
not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't
First, I have to
have
open the door.
anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no
Okay, now
outlet
what?
to ground himself on.
I have to close the first door. What's next? What's the switch here? Ha, that was so simple.
You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work
Oh,
that
it
way.
does, okay, I thought it-
You
I thought
can't
it
be the
spawned.
one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation.
Oh, this
If all
reminds
of
me
your
of
anxieties are being
Darkness
channeled
of the Morning.
into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
Oh, these are all my answers for the past. Okay, here we are. It's like reversed crying. Trust me, you'll see. You have to say that your work is fun and easy. You have to say that the game development is simple and joyous, and you love it 100% of the time. Oh. Okay. Oof. These are all my answers that I've answered. But it wasn't true. Don't worry about it, just keep talking. Keep saying that creation is easy. I'm constantly excited and enthusiastic.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked
Wow, this is
really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering. This is someone I really cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me. I don't know. This is what I felt at the time.
And these are all
I don't know how else
possible
to explain
ones
it.
as well.
I wanted it
'Cause
to
I never
stop
selected
more
this
than
one.
anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop.
Ooh, we're back at the prison. It's a lamppost too. There's someone on the... Incredible, that's it. I'm free, I'm free.
But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
Coda. The machine. Hello, guard. Oh, ma'am, glad to see you've arrived safely. We've captured the machine. It's waiting for you now. You can begin the interrogation whenever you like. I intend to be quick. Very good. Just be warned that someone called the press, so we might have a bit of attention on this one. Also, one more thing you should know about the machine. It calls itself Coda. Oh my. Oh. These are all the people who played his games asking about the machine and things like that. Oof.
And of course,
Stop.
it's the machine.
Stop feeding us. Those people out there, can you imagine what pain you've put them through? Here's what needs to happen. You go apologize for them. I've seen the thing you fear. What's that? Alright then. I will speak to them for you. My friends. Falls on knee to deliver terrible news. Bad. The machine will not apologize to us. But this is not important. We're stronger than we think we are. Let us pay it retribution. Let us show it. Why am I yawning? Let us show we are not failures. Follow me, will destroy everything that machine has created. Go back to the stage. Oh, wow. That's kind of cool. Has an actual lighting effect when you delete the stuff. Wow, this is just so surreal and just weird. Whoa.
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that Code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation. And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work?
Oh, we're back in the thought room. With all the ideas for games and stuff. This is... Whoa!
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
Something goes wrong, though. The machine and the lamppost. Put down your weapon.
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something, I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy. So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while.
Meaning what?
So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look.
I'm really wondering right now if this is like a... Didn't he say this was either a true story, it was based on true events that happened to him? I'll have to go through the recording.
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game. This room actually has a maze in it. Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise, so the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played, it actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the level, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
Hey, these are like the same type of walls that he used in Stanley Parable. Just kind of these color palette walls.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze? The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
1516. Oh, 15, 16, 17. Well, that was already the one. 17. I overdid it. 17. Hey, I got a ride. Oh, it's coming out that side too.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that. Was I a failure for not understanding this game?
There's still some
I don't know why I would be. It's not like
topics
everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years, I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't.
The 3 dots? Oh, like the speaking?
I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left. And it felt somehow like I had failed. Where did I screw up?
Dear Davey, thank you for your interest in my games.
I'm the reason that you
not to
stopped
speak
making
to me
games,
anymore.
aren't I? It's because of what I did.
It's because he went out and started
I
asking
poisoned it
people
for
to
you.
play. Or was it because Davey kept wanting to
I
play?
don't think
him,
I
and
ever
so
told
he
you
kept
this.
making them for him.
But when I
There are
took your
times
work
whether
and I
you
was
think I'm
showing it to
making these-
people,
Oh, it is.
it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable.
You've so infected
And
my personal space.
the
that
people
it's
who
possible
played
I
them,
did begin to plant
they
solutions
treated
in my
me
work
like
somewhere
I
people
was
could play
important.
games.
He really listened and
There was
cared
an
about what
answer
I
without
had
meaning.
to
Would it
say.
make you any happier?
Even though I was showing your work,
Would you
it was...
stop taking my games and showing them to
I
people
felt
against my
good
wishes?
about myself.
Giving
Finally.
them something
For a
that's not yours
moment,
to give
while
by
I
leaving
had
one
that,
boundary? Oh,
I liked
wow.
myself.
Would you stop changing my game? Stop adding Ooh. Oh, lampposts meaning an end. Okay.
And then you
You
stopped.
simply let them.
And
be
I
what
didn't
they
have
are.
anything left to show people. I just
When
had
I'm
to
around you, I
be
feel
with
physically
myself.
ill.
And
You
as soon as
desperately
that
need something
happened,
I cannot give
there
to you.
was
I
no
literally
feeling
can't
at
have
all.
it.
Nothing.
Struggling
Less
to
than
come up with
nothing.
new ideas is not making me depressed.
What does
Low
that
points are just a part of the process. The fact that you think I am frustrated or broken says more about you than about me. I realize this doesn't make any sense to you just yet. Which is fine, you're not my problem to solve. But I do hope that one day it clicks and that you make peace with this thing you are wrestling.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
And when you finally see what I'm talking about, don't say anything. That's spooky. I didn't like that.
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. And I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
Wow. Epilogue. Looks like a train station or something. Like Grand Central.
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease. Solution. I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons. Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
What's this? It's like we're in some kind of cave.
If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like. What now? I think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for. And so I'm just gonna... Okay.
So it sounds like Coda was making these games because he felt like it, but Davey, the guy who's been speaking to us, Coda wasn't making them with like a purpose. There was no game to it. He just liked making it. But Coda felt like, or Davey felt like there should be a purpose. So he pressured Coda into making a game, or making games where you did something, where there was an end. And then Coda got beat down by that. Started feeling anxious, depressed, probably. And Davey thought it was just Coda until Coda revealed that it was Davey's fault. And now he's gone. And we fly again.
Turn back. Turn back from this cave. You said, let me prove that
This project
I'm
would not have been possible without the fallen
brave.
individuals.
Let me keep
Wow. Oh, that was crazy. I started that game. I deliberately stayed away from this. It's an old game. It's been out for quite a while, and I've seen videos on YouTube of it, but I've never watched them. I've been trying to stay away from it because I wanted to play it myself. I thought it was going to be kind of like the Stanley Parable. I knew it was made by the same guy who made Stanley Parable. I thought it was going to be kind of that fourth wall breaking, or like it goes into files on your computer. Like I said, when I started playing this, I thought it went into files or something. Okay. This was an incredible game, and I need to go back and watch the recording because I don't remember. Hold on, I'll look this up. I want to see if this game was based on real events. Okay, so this is a Steam page. Looks like the game isn't real, but it was about Davy Reddens, the writer of both this and Stanley Parable. Some things he was going through after having the Stanley Parable being made. There's a lot of stuff about it. It can't be real, but this was an incredible game, an incredible experience, and it felt very lighthearted, almost. I knew something was going wrong, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. Again, it seems like Coda, whoever we're talking about, was making games or experiences, not even games, for the fun of it, because he liked it, but they never really had a purpose. There was never really playability to them. And then Davey came along, and he wanted to play them. He wanted playable ones, which Coda didn't want, but he made them anyway because they were friends. Which hurt him. He didn't like it. Davey thought it was just Coda being depressed or things like that. He started trying to share Coda's work with other people to try and make it show Coda that people liked it, but that hurt Coda even more. If any of you are struggling with this kind of stuff, with depression or things like that, talk to someone. I know I don't have experience to say this, but I know it helps to talk. Tell people what you're feeling. It can be hard, but it's the best way to get through it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to smash the like button, hit subscribe, and comment below if you like this video, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.